Hi everybody, my name is Sofia Barbarosa and I'm a marriage counselor here in Plantation, Florida. So I wanted to talk about the world of dating today. I get some questions asked regularly about what are some of the things to look out for when you are trying to find the one. Whether you are in your 20s and looking for a long-term relationship, or you're recovering from a divorce and you're ready to get back in the dating world, these are things to consider. There are 7 red flag behaviors to look out for so that you know if that relationship maybe is not a good one to continue with. So the first 2 things I wanted to mention is 2 personality disorders that maybe you already know these words, but just to give you a little bit of the definitions and the behaviors so that you know how to identify them. First of all, narcissism. Right? So a narcissistic person is a person who has an excessive interest on themselves. You know, they think regularly that they're right. They impose their wants and needs on other people. It's hard for them to include your opinion, what you want to do, how you want to feel in their relationship. And it causes a lot of emotional harm, right? Because you don't feel included in the relationship, you don't feel like a priority. So, you know, look out for those flags of somebody wanting to tell you all the time how you should feel or what to consider, and your needs and your wants for the relationship are not taken seriously. The next one is borderline. So borderline personality disorder is notorious of people that maybe we call regularly as dramatic, right? Like people that have extreme emotional reactions for certain things, and they have not a great sense of self, and they might make you feel like you have to take sides, right? Like you might feel like you're either on their team or you are on the enemy's team. So kind of, that's called a splitting type behavior. So, you know, just keeping in mind that idea of extreme emotions and just a feeling that people have to be either on your side or the other person, and just not knowing really what a definition of a healthy relationship might mean. It's typically caused, these 2 personality disorders usually are caused by having experienced trauma in life. So unresolved trauma, which, you know, just to make sense of that, right? Trauma can cause a distorted view of what a relationship is, because somebody may have put you in a abusive situation. Therefore, that taints your perspective of what trust means, what love means, and therefore what a healthy relationship may mean, right? So after these 2 personality disorders, I wanted to mention a few typical dating terms that are negative behaviors, negative patterns in the dating world that are buzzing out there. And maybe you have heard some of them, maybe you have not. So check them out. So the first one is gaslighting. So that one is typically about manipulating someone by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. So it looks like you're getting told what you should think, you know, and literally maybe something's told like you're crazy, or you start wondering if you're crazy, right? Like, how is it that you're seeing this situation in this way, and then the other person is telling you, no, that's not the way it went this way, and you are to blame for what happened in a way. So many times gaslighting is a behavior from narcissistic personality. So there's a correlation there. So, you know, be aware of that. Then there's breadcrumbing. So breadcrumbing is you see a lot of attention coming from the other person, but in mostly a sexual way. So you only get, you know, like booty calls or connection just to be sexual with the person, but not really wanting to be committed. There's no plans for the future. There's either a lot of attention and then no attention, so kind of like a hot cold feeling in the relationship. And when you are asking questions to proceed in a relationship, or you want to have like a regular date night or that kind of things, maybe it's not received well, or it's avoided, or just they might disappear for some time and then just come back expecting some more sexual connection with you, or flirtatious connection with you. Then there's ghosting. So ghosting, just idea of ghosting is the person becomes a ghost, right? Like they disappear, you were dating, you thought things were going well, and all of a sudden the person disappears. And you don't know where they went or what happened. The best thing to do in that situation is to think about moving on, right? Like think that that person really didn't honor you, didn't honor your relationship with them, and they maybe don't feel courageous to tell you what went wrong, and they find it easier to let you know that they're not interested through silence, all right? So of course there might be some period of recovering from that breakup, but don't wait too long, because that person, if they're moving on their own. And then there's love bombing. So that is going the extra mile more than usual. So it might feel amazing at the beginning, right? Like lots of romantic gestures, maybe gifts, extravagant date nights. It might feel like a fairy tale, but then at the same time, it may be a lot of calls, a lot of text messages, and then you might start feeling pressured to commit to the relationship. And typically this behavior only lasts for a period of time, and when you have committed to the relationship, a lot of those extravagant or out there romantic expressions start dying off. So that's why it's the bombing effect, right? Like it happens a lot at the beginning and then it goes away. So that's a way to incite commitment, but it's not a way that might represent the rest of the relationship. Maybe leaving you feel like you were taken for granted in the end, and just not feeling a realistic perspective of the relationship. Then there's orbiting. Orbiting is the most new trend. It started in about 2017 apparently, and it's more like, it's kind of like ghosting in the sense of that the person doesn't contact you anymore, or doesn't want to call you or text you back, but they're still following you on social media somehow and liking your posts, and it's kind of that strange space of, okay, but you don't want to date me, but you're still following me and commenting on my social media. What are we? So it's not very clear what the person's intent is, not expressed directly to you, but through their actions, they're letting you know basically how they feel about the situation, right? They just want to keep you placed as a social media friend. So with all of these things said, right, like, so keep in mind those 7 red flags. In another video, I want to talk about what are the things that you really do want to look for when you're starting to date, that will tell you that that other person might be a great catch. But I also want to mention briefly the idea that if you see one of these behaviors happening at one point, it might not mean that that person is narcissist or borderline, right? There has to be a trend of those behaviors happening, a pattern. So I would say give the benefit of the doubt if you see it one time and see if it continues. But if in a few months that you're with a person, you're seeing regularly the same behavior, then that really is the red flag, okay? So good luck in your dating situation. Let me know if you have any questions. Reach me at sofiarabriosa.com or make some comments below and I'll get back to you. Take care. Bye.